Hello, I am just following up on a question that came, and I am totally sorry I just didn't print it out tough and then have a copy. But from my memory, as well as I can, this fellow wrote, how should he talk to his mother? She is a generator and he is a projector. And then he went on a little bit to say he has spleen and solar plexus defined to awareness centers, but his mother has just root sacral center. Now, he told me a bit about the charts, but I would say this is why I have trouble with types. And this is a very good example. This guy wanted to know how he should talk to his mother, and it's quite hard for me to answer the question. Couple reasons. One, we don't know about the body graph. We don't have the composite. So this answer is going to go back to the questioner to just say what this guy has to look for. Now, I have a lot of trouble with what happens to people that they have this orientation that the types, it's absolutely the first thing you gotta see. And you know what? It's okay, but what you really need is to be able to see the body graph. Okay, now we know one thing about this composite, and that is the questioner does not have a defined sacral center, and therefore that is the first thing that we could say to him. This is a lifetime conditioning that this kid has had, and really that's your starting point. I would say, you know, you have a chance to evaluate what that conditioning is. And it might be that you feel pushed, or you feel like you're vital, you can do things. But here is the thing that I would say, you gotta look and see what that electromagnetic connection might be. And that would be you having half a channel, your mom having the other half. And that would be your very first clue as to what's going on. You have to be able to feel your half of how that relationship conditions you. It's not that you need to get rid of the conditioning, but identifying it is actually the first thing. Now, because your mother is not defined in either the spleen or solar plexus, we don't know that your mother has any awareness centers defined. And the other thing that we would want to look at is how you connect to the throat. You know, you ask, how do I communicate and talk with your mother? And of course, first thing we would want to look at with the word talk is throat. How is it configured? And the other thing that I'm not completely clear about is this looks or sounds like a composite without mental definition, and that would also be your starting point. Okay, now just in terms of what your mother's conditioning is doing to you. Your mother is conditioned by you in the spleen and solar plexus. In other words, she could show you when you're emotionally kind of reactive. That means her action could be kind of reactive, and therefore you could pay attention to it. In other words, if your mother gets too extreme in terms of being emotionally reactive, that is how you condition that person to be. So if she does get emotionally reactive, you've got your choice. I think your starting point always ought to be just identifying what's going on. That means you could say, did I upset you, Mom? Because you're feeling that she is somehow emotional. And that is how you influence her. And getting back to you, if you feel pushed by her, that means your mom is saying, well, you ought to do this and that, do. It's really helpful if you just identify that you feel pushed. I can't really tell how the G center might be defined, how the heart center might be defined. And so, anthro, of course, ajna. So the first thing you should do is look at the body graph and see how the two of you define anything. It does not matter, because that is going to tell you what the two of you have together. Now, what's really tricky is seeing what is you and what is the other. In other words, the two of you define something, but because it's defined, it feels like it's yours. And of course, then you can look at the opposite side, what your mom brings to that channel, and you can then complain about her influence or something. That's actually the normal way. We get conditioned by somebody and then we say, I don't want to be changed like this. And however the two of you define things together is a very big known to you. Anyway, I can't completely answer from this, but since you're a student of human design, you can look at the composite chart. Not that you can find it, but Zen Human Design does do composites, so you can always order one from me. And then, if you feel like it, you could ask another question. This one, if I am looking at the composite body graph, then I would have a far better idea to answer your question. Okay, but thanks for asking.